Hi RAs, this is Maggie Keach and Carrie Wren. We are here to present to you RA training, radio training. It's our first webinar and we're very excited for it. So let's get started. So we want to show you what the radio looks like and then talk about how you'll be using it during duty. So this slide shows you the different aspects of the radio. Later in the webinar, we'll actually show you an actual radio and we'll be able to go more in depth. But for now, to the left, the first arrow is where the power switch is on. You'll turn this on, it'll make a beep, which we'll show you later. This will also be helpful to know how loud your volume is and other items like that. Then we also have on the left side the call button. You're going to want to hold down the call button for a couple seconds prior to speaking. This is important as if you don't wait a couple seconds before speaking, you will then be cut off and campus police dispatch will not know what you originally said. And usually the location is what you say first. And so what they don't catch is the location of where you need them to go. On the right-hand side is the radio channel. Now, the only channel that you'll need to know is channel 1. And so at the beginning of your shift, you want to make sure that it's always on channel 1. This is so that both campus police and the RDs can hear what you're saying and respond to you. The other is the microphone and speaker. So in that area, that's where you're going to want to speak into. Now, unlike a walkie-talkie where you have the radio right directly up to your mouth, you're going to want to keep that microphone and speaker a few feet away from your mouth so that they can understand you. If it's too close to your mouth, then it's just going to come across as garble and they're not going to be able to hear you clearly, and so they won't be able to respond to you as well. Okay, so using the radio. So like we said, you're going to press down the call button, then you're going to pause, and then you're going to state your area and call code for who you are contacting. So for example, if you're an RA in Alumni Des, you're going to say Alumni Des RA to control. Now control means dispatch, which you see there below, and R60 is the RD or RDs on the weekend on duty. If you're a Hill RA, you would say Hill RA to control or Hill RA to R60, depending on who you want to speak to. Step 2, after you are prompted from the respondent in a calm and clear manner with the radio a little bit away from your mouth, you're going to state the reason why you're making the call. Example, I need an officer for an alcohol assessment on the first floor of Alumni. Now, it's important to say that it's an alcohol assessment, so that's one piece of it, and then also which floor you're on. And then again, even though you told them you were the Alumni Des RA earlier, you're going to want to let them know which building you're in so that they get it a second time so that they know where to go and the location they need to get to you. And then step 3, you're going to wait for a response and say received. For example, the respondent will say, copy, officer is on the way, and you'll always say received. That makes sure that dispatch knows that you received that someone is on the way. When possible, you're going to want to step away from the situation and students to place the call. Sometimes this isn't always possible, but if there's a lot of commotion going on or if you're trying to give information to dispatch, it's better to step away even a few steps back so that they're understanding you and they're not hearing the commotion on the radio that's happening in front of you. You want to check the volume on your radio to make sure you're able to hear the response back to you. So usually this will be done when roll call happens and you'll be able to know the volume at which your radio is at and then be able to adjust it to what your needs are. You're also going to want to speak calmly and clearly and never say the student's name over the radio. Others have the ability to listen to the radio that's off campus And so we would never want to give out personal information, no student ID numbers, no names. We wouldn't want to give anything over the radio that someone would be able to connect a student to the incident that's happening. And then when in doubt about whether or not to call for help, you always call. You'll always call, either you can call control, which is dispatch, or you call R60, which is the RD on duty. This is some information on when and who to call. Like we said, just calling someone is what's most important. So whether you call R60 and you meant to call control, or you called control and you meant to call R60, that doesn't matter. What matters is you're making the call. But here are some instances why you would call the RD on duty versus calling campus police. So calling the RD on duty, intoxication, no vomiting, severe roommate conflicts, you would give them a call versus campus police. A severe confrontation, so non-compliance, crowd control. And when we talk about confrontation, we're not talking about assault. That will be in the campus police side. So if there's any physical or verbal threats that are being made, you always will call campus police. But if they're not being compliant to you, or you find that there's a little bit more of crowd control that's needed, you can give the RD on duty a call. Severe harassment, campus police may be contacted as well, but to get an initial contact, calling the RD on duty is great as well. Questions of student identity, if the student is a student or not, if they're a guest, all of that. Suicide ideation, referral to the SDCC, so you'll want to call the RD on duty as well. So that will be important. Calling campus police, you're going to want to call campus police for fire, a flood, broken glass, bodily harm, threats, drugs, smell of marijuana, weapons, alcohol assessment, medical assessment, suicide attempt, or missing student. Those are important.
One second.
Radio practice. So you aren't around an alumni. You come to the third floor and find Tammy throwing up in the bathroom stall. When you check on her, you find out that she's had 3 shots, 2 cups of jungle juice, and 4 beers. She can't sit up on her own, and her speech is slurred. We're going to give you a couple seconds in your own comfort of your own home to be able to try to practice what you would say on the radio. So now that you've tried it, here's how we'd want you to respond to this scenario over the radio.
Alumni Des, RA to control. I have found a student and I need an officer for a medical assessment on the 3rd floor of alumni. It's an alcohol assessment. Just keep going.
Okay.
I gotta answer this, Mom.
Yep.
So yes, it's just fall. Okay. Oh yeah, use the fall 2015. I'm sorry about that. Yep. All right.